Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. Now the news in full. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has withheld his assent to the National Assembly Library Trust Fund Establishment Amendment Bill 2025, citing illegal and financial concerns. In a letter to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, Tinubu said the bill, though well-intentioned, contains provisions that conflict with existing federal laws and government policies. He flagged issues with the proposed funding system, taxation of federal entities, public service remuneration, and age and service limits, warning that signing the bill in its current form could set a problematic legal precedent. The leadership of the People's Democratic Party and officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission are currently holding a closed-door meeting in Abuja as preparations intensify ahead of the party's upcoming National Executive Committee meeting. They both went into closed-door meeting immediately after having press meeting at the INEC headquarters. Though details of the discussions remain undisclosed, the meeting focuses on issues related to internal party processes, upcoming elections, and the status of the party's leadership structure. The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HARUA, has called on President Bola Tinubu and Attorney General of the Federation to act swiftly in enforcing the rule of law in Osun State. The group also condemned that what it described as an illegal occupation of local government secretariat by APC loyalists. Hosanna Okerafo completes the story.
The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HURIWA, sounded the alarm over what it calls a breakdown of constitutional order in Osun State. The group demands that President Tinubu and the Attorney General of the Federation direct security agencies, particularly the Nigeria Police Force, to expel individuals loyal to All Progressives Congress who are reportedly occupying local government offices in defiance of a court ruling.
The Attorney General of the Federation, as the Chief Law Officer of the country, must now act decisively in the interest of justice and we respect Mr. Prince Fabimi as a principled legal practitioner, a very senior one at that. He must demonstrate leadership by issuing clear directive for the immediate enforcement of the court's ruling.
The association expressed concern that despite the ruling, police officers continue to protect those illegally occupying the secretariats, commending the Attorney General of Osun State, Wole Jimmy Bada, for standing firm while beckoning on the federal government to restore democratic order across all 30 local councils in the state.
We're calling on the Attorney General of the Federation to advise the IG of Police, Dr. Kayode Ebotoku, to immediately withdraw all police personnel guarding the illegal occupation of the council and ensure that the duly elected PDP officials regain access to their offices.
HURIWA vows to sustain its advocacy until justice is done and the PDP officials regain access to their offices. Hosanna Okerafo reporting for Global TV News.
The Ogun State Governor, Dakpo Abiodun, announced a 2 billion naira intervention fund for various infrastructural development at the state-owned Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, Ojere, Abeokuta. Abiodun made this announcement while speaking during the 15th combined convocation of the Polytechnic, covering 9 academic seasons from 2016 to 2024. The governor also announced a cash award of 2.5 million naira for each of the best graduating students from the 2015-2016 to the 2023-24 academic sessions. The Vice President of Brazil, Geraldo Alckmin, and his wife, Marian Alckmin, arrived in Nigeria for the commencement of the second season of the Nigeria-Brazil Strategic Dialogue Mechanism On arrival at the presidential wing of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, the delegation was received by the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Senator Ibrahim Hadejia, and Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole. Other government officials that received the delegations are the Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Maha, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, among others. Over now to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Reverend Father Moses Orsho Adasu University, Makurdi Benue State, has called for immediate humanitarian support and the implementation of effective resettlement programs to aid the safe return of displaced persons from all communities attacked by suspected armed herders in the state. This is contained in a statement issued by Ali Sule Ako and Daniel Chile, the union's chairperson and secretary respectively, and made available to journalists. The union condemned the recent attack on the people of Yelwata in Guma local government area of the state. The federal government has assured citizens, residents and visitors of Abuja's safety, addressing concerns raised by a recent U.S. Embassy security advisory restricting non-official travel by its staff and families to military and government facilities within the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. Minister of Information National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, acknowledged the advisory in a statement yesterday, but emphasized that Abuja remains safe. Idris highlighted the proactive measures undertaken by Nigerian security agencies to ensure the safety of the FCT. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, Bauchi State Office, has announced plans to inaugurate an intensive media campaign aimed at raising awareness among users and sellers of agricultural chemicals. The state coordinator of NAFDAG in Bauchi, Hamas Yahaya, disclosed this in an interview. He said the campaign had become imperative with the onset of the rainy season. According to him, the campaign is designed to educate marketers on the importance of procuring genuine and quality products. About 1.3 million people die from second-hand smoke every year. 79 countries have implemented comprehensive smoke-free laws, according to a World Health Organization report on the global tobacco epidemic 2025. The report released at the World Conference on Tobacco Control in Dublin warned that action is needed to maintain and accelerate progress in tobacco control as rising industry interference challenges tobacco policies and control efforts. The report focuses on the 6 proven WHO-empowered tobacco control measures to reduce tobacco use, which claims over 7 million lives every year. An unsuspected number of school infrastructures and staff quarters have reportedly been destroyed due to rainstorms in Funtua local government area of Katsina State. This is contained in a statement issued by the Public Relations Officer of the Ministry, Sani Danjuma Suleiman. The statement noted that the State Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Zainab Musawa, was saddened by the devastating damage caused by the rainfall. You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. A News Cycle returns federal government's revenue jumps 40% to 6.9 trillion naira in 4 months. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Cycle on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, the Ministry of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Adun, says that the reforms introduced by the Bola Tinubu administration have effectively dismantled the dollar black market and boosted the federal government's revenue to 6.9 trillion naira between January and April 2025. The figure represents a 40% increase compared to the 5.2 trillion naira recorded during the same period in 2024. Adun made this known in Abuja during the second quarter 2025 Citizens and Stakeholders Engagement session on fiscal performance and reform outlook. He attributed the surge in revenue to the administration's liberalization of the foreign exchange market, fiscal discipline, and the deployment of technology to block leakages across ministries, departments, and agencies. Federal government says it has prioritized strategic infrastructure development, energy transition, environmental sustainability, and inclusive economic growth. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, Political and Economic Affairs, Gangare Indugu, made this known at the Stakeholders Engagement on Africa Infrastructure and Climate Change Summit 2025 in Abuja. In the meantime, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, says the ministry is at its third phase to achieve a rapid growth in the economy for increased investment in Nigeria. The minister made this known at the 2025 second quarter Citizens and Stakeholders Engagement on the implementation of presidential priorities and ministerial deliverables meeting. Over now to Shara Ajay as she completes the story.
Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, stated that while there's an increased gross domestic product growth of 3.4%, the industry is faced with the need to achieve 70% per annum, with the aim of pulling Nigerians out of poverty.
Real GDP growth is on the right trajectory, but at 3.4%, even 3.8% is not enough. That is not the aim, that's not the objective, and that's not the target of Mr. President. It is instead to achieve in the nearest future a GDP growth rate on a sustainable basis of somewhere near 7% per annum. And why that figure? That would be more than double population growth.
Speaking on the need for adequate funding for the small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, as well as entrepreneurs in order to boost the market economy, the minister emphasized on the need to achieve the efficiency in identifying and managing the federal revenues in the federal purse for the benefit of Nigerians.
Small and medium-scale businesses, entrepreneurs, service providers, manufacturers are the backbone of this market economy, and they have been provided grants, they have been provided low interest loans, many through BOI, as well as larger scale loans for the medium-sized enterprises.
He highlighted the working plans achieved by the industry in the oil and gas, health and power sectors, as well as NEL Fund. Sharon Ajay, reporting for Global TV News.
Qatar has officially reopened its airspace following a temporary closure triggered by an Iranian missile strike on the Al Udeid air base, which hosts United States forces. In a statement posted on its verified X account, the Qatari General Civil Aviation Authority confirmed the resumption of normal air traffic operations. The missile strike was part of Iran's retaliation against United States' attack on its nuclear facilities over the weekend, escalating regional tensions. The High Court of Justice King's Bench Division London has concluded hearing in a €55 million oil spill lawsuit against the Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria Limited. The case stemmed from two major oil spills that occurred in 2008 in Bodo Community, Gangona, local government area of Rivers State, Nigeria. According to Lide, the London-based law firm representing the claimants, that Bodo Community suffered two spills involving nearly 500,000 barrels of oil from the Bonu Boni Trans Niger pipeline operated by SPDC. Over now to the Central Bank of Nigeria. CBN has accused the Nigerian Governors Forum and other interlopers of delaying the 85 billion naira contract for the construction of 774 healthcare centers across local government areas in Nigeria through their respective pending litigations. CBN court document shows that about 584 healthcare centers have so far been constructed, while 190 remain outstanding due to what the Apex Bank described as a series of litigations. The legal disputes arose from the contract in 2007, approved by the Federal Executive Council at the time for the construction of comprehensive primary health care centers in each of the 774 local government and area councils in Nigeria. On the foreign scene now, the United Nations condemned Israel's apparent weaponization of food in Gaza, a war crime, and urged Israel's military to stop shooting at people trying to get food. The U.S. and Israel-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation began food distribution operations in Gaza on May 26 after Israel completely cut off supplies into occupying Palestinian territory for more than 2 months, sparkling warnings of mass famine. The U.S. said in May that 100% of the population of the besieged territory were at risk of famine. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Al-Karchi has denied reports of ceasefire agreement with Israel, stating that Tehran will only stop its retaliatory attack if Israel ends what it described as illegal aggression. Posting on his verified X account, Al-Karchi refuted United States President Donald Trump earlier claimed that both countries had agreed to a truce to end the ongoing 12-day conflict. So far, Israel has not made any public statements regarding the ceasefire claims. Iran says that at least 610 civilians have been killed and more than 4,700 wounded in the Islamic Republic since the start of the war with Israel on June 13th. Those killed in the Israeli strikes included 13 children, the youngest of whom was a 2-month-old, the ministry said, as well as 5 doctors and rescue workers. The ministry also said 7 hospitals and 9 ambulances have been damaged in the Israel attack. And in sports stories now, former Nigerian sprinter Olusoji Fasuba has launched a scouting attack on the hierarchy of Athletics Federation of Nigeria following a statement put out by the nation's governing body in the wake of favor of Ofili's purported switch to Turkey. Ofili's switch to the European country was made public on Sunday, just 3 months before the 2025 World Athletics Championship in Tokyo. The 22-year-old Ofili was said to have advised the Athletes Integrity Unit of her frustration with the AFN, noting that her switch of allegiance was not financially motivated. The 2025 WTT contender Lagos is set to attract some of the world's biggest table tennis stars when it serves up from July 22nd to 26th in Nigeria's commercial capital. Organizers announced an increased prize pool of $100,000 from $75,000 alongside a star-studded lineup for the tournament. This year's edition will feature Japan's world number 9, Hina Hayata, regaining African champion Hana Goda of Egypt, and France's fast-rising Parvade among the headlined names. Now that's it on Global TV News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @GlobalTVNG. You know, you can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good evening.